A man can't just be with a woman forever morally. He can't. Like, the morals gonna change depending on the situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I stopped trying to just do the right thing because the principle of being a man. Nah, that's finicky. Like, if I see something that's thick and blah, 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 morally, I'm like, I mean, I could kick it with it, like, but I ain't do nothing. So
Right.
morally is not really, you start doing that if it's morally.
I am LL, the Seminary Dropout, and this will be news for some. This will be a review for others. I'm going to try not to pause it too much. Why don't men cheat? Let's get into it.
I think kingdom men, bro, if you're able to say, where am I weak at? Where is my healing? Because I don't do certain things because I have a connection to God. I don't want to be away from God. I don't want to the repercussions of feeling it. So it's being good to her is the secondary thing. It's not the first. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh yeah, it's my girl, I gotta know. It's like, I have to be okay with the choices I make. I have to know I gotta answer to God. I gotta answer to how I feel in the morning. I gotta answer to by making these decisions, am I telling God I'm not ready for these blessings? Am I not saying, yo, I'm gonna put you on a tour. I'm gonna delay your tour because I know if you get 30 cities, bro, you're gonna lose your mind. You're not ready for that. So I don't.
And I'm trying to let him cook, y'all. And he says so much. You know, he talked about, like, morally how you can justify pushing the boundaries. He talked about the principles of being a man, your morals, and but versus kingdom relationship. And then, you know, for me, it's about assessing your weaknesses and being able to set up boundaries so that you're not giving room for you to slip up. Your relationship with God, setting boundaries, and prioritizing God first over the relationship, which is not a slight to her or the relationship, but it's more so putting things into perspective in a godly order that gives you a fighting chance to stay faithful.
I'm thinking of all of these things of, damn, now I'm changing generational legacy. I'm perpetuating generational curses. So it's all of these things of 15, 20 minutes of what? That I'm not even gonna enjoy after. I'm gonna be paranoid during the whole situation.
Right. Exactly.
Shoot, this is, I hope she's not crazy. I hope this,
Yeah.
dang, how's she gonna be after this? You know, like, you're not even there. So for me, it's like, yo, is it really worth it? You know, and so I say all that to say, the healing in you is what changes it, that makes you open to then say, dang, this is somebody that God can trust me with, that I can have a long life with. Because if you're not ready and she's his chosen, he's not gonna link you with her to protect her. You have to do the work, and if she's right for you, which she is at this point, God willing, you know, then you've elevated to then say, okay, that's why this feels like this is forever. You know what I mean?
That's why it feels like it's forever. He said a handful, y'all, and I want God to be able to use me because of my heart posture, right? So if I've assessed myself, my areas of weakness, and I know where I need to heal, I can definitely pray for that focus. And also, I can set boundaries so that there is no slip ups, in a sense of I won't give myself room to slip. And knowing that temporary, whatever you want to call it, not willing to sacrifice legacy for some temporary, I'm not gonna call it satisfaction because it's not satisfaction. There has to be responsibility to your legacy. Has to be. And you knew who she was when you married her. Come back to that.
I love that you said that,
Yeah.
and how you describe and broke down morals. Because when I speak to brothers, and because of Hardly Initiated, man, I get to walk up to people,
Yeah.
and instantly have some of the realest conversations ever.
Instantly.
Instantly. And the brothers that I notice that are faithful
Yeah.
in their marriages,
Yeah.
they're not faithful because they don't want to hurt their wives'
No,
feelings.
it's temporary.
It's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
They're faithful because they don't want to get right. They don't want to get in a wrong space with God. Like that's
Yes.
their principle.
Yes, bro.
That they're standing on.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with the woman.
No.
In fact, because
No.
if that's the case, if the woman changes, all of a sudden my behavior changes. If the woman's gone, my behavior changes.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
woman. Or the woman's coming into my kingdom and
Absolutely.
how I operate.
Absolutely.
And that's what you stand on.
Yeah.
So that's
And to speak the kingdom, like I said, you knew who she was when you married her. You saw the signs, but yet you went through it for better or for worse, right? So you can't then turn and say, like Adam, it's the woman you gave me that made me do it. Flip Wilson, the devil made me do it. Nah, you can't do that. You can't fault her, right? Ultimately, for me, it comes down to, do I want to be separated from God, or better yet, do I want to feel separated from God? Because I want God to use me in a mighty way. I want his guidance. I want his provision. I want his protection. And I don't want anything to come in the way of that.
that's a very big difference. And until a man is able to really get that level, get that standard in his life,
Absolutely.
and get aligned in that way, you know, his, like you say, morals, they'll always shake.
They always shake.
And they'll be, you'll be persuaded.
Yeah,
You'll be able to be persuaded and talked out of doing whatever it is you're doing.
You can justify principles. You know what I'm saying? You can justify, like, yeah, your principles are different from mine. Your principles are different. Everybody's principles are different. But then in terms of, I keep bringing this word up, kingdom, there's only one way to be. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I stopped thinking of fear of God, of like, dang, I'm scared of God. No, I was like, fear of God to me means the fear of not having him, yo.
Come on now.
Right.
That, like, the fear of not having him, that scares me because I felt that for so long. I'll make...
And we're going to stop it right there. The fear of being separated from God. I've been shot at with an AR-15. I've fell asleep at the wheel doing 85. I've slipped off the highway and I've fishtailed off the highway and almost slipped on the other side of the freeway and lost my life. I'm talking about God's protection, provision, guidance. I've prayed for the sick and they've recovered. I've prayed for the deceased and they've come back to life. And there's nothing special about me. Nothing at all. Because I can't do anything on my own power. It's all through God's authority. Right? Nothing special about me. My relationship, though I love my wife, though I love my relationship, I still have to keep a godly order and focus about it. Because to not do so can cause for there to be room for the enemy to slip in there. This woman that you gave me, Adam, she made me do it based on how she was performing. Nah, more so, I don't want your hand of protection lifted. I want you to use me in a mighty way. And in terms of keeping things in a godly order, those angels recognize godly order. And in a sense, they're activated on their assignment based on God's order, because guess what? They won't violate God's order. There's a more acceptable way. Many are called, few are chosen. Who is faithful? As always, love to you and peace.